Special counsel Jack Smith is dropping the case, accusing President-elect Donald Trump of plotting to overturn the 2020 election. Smith citing a Justice Department policy that protects presidents from prosecution while in office. In the filing, Smith told the judge that his motion is not based on the merits or strength of the case against Trump. Federal prosecutors are also abandoning their classified documents case against Trump, in which they accuse the president-elect of jeopardizing national security by keeping classified documents in his Mar-a-Lago estate. Here to talk a little bit more about it, Chief Legal Analyst Colleen Rhodes. And one of the things that came out since the 2 hours that we did talk is that Judge Tanya Chutkan from D.C., she has decided to go along with a dismissal here from Jack Smith.
I mean, listen, when a prosecutor decides that they want to dismiss the case, the judge is really just standing there. They're calling balls and strikes. They are the official umpire. But that last part that you read in, before we got to that question, if you want me to explain the legalese of what Jack Smith was saying, he basically said, my hands are tied. I want to keep going, but I can't.
We got a case.
We have a case. It's actually a great case, but I can't go for it because I'm not allowed to go for it. I mean, if you read between every line there, that's all he's saying. Judge Chutkan, I mean, she's going along with whatever they say. Remember, before this point, the prosecutor and the defense were going to submit what they thought were non-official acts and what they thought were official acts, and they were going to have a hearing on that. Well, obviously, all that changed with the election of Donald Trump. And so now they're at a point where the prosecutor, Jack Smith, is saying, well, I'm going to get fired in a few months anyway. We have an internal memo that says we can't go forward with these type of cases if he's a sitting president. I really don't have anything else left to do here except for fall back as far as I can and get ready for the next administration, which ultimately would have decided to not go forward with this case anyway. And so if I have any control in the last 2 months that I'm here in this position, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this case and just, figure out how we move forward.
A couple of things. Is there an opportunity to still get the information out before the inauguration? And also, was there probably fear of retribution possibly involved in the decision-making?
Well, I think there is an opportunity to get the information out. I mean, think about it. They had a grand jury. And so that information that they presented to the grand jury typically is sealed. And I think that process of getting it out would be hard, but there's still an opportunity for it to happen. In terms of the retribution, you got to think of what President Trump has talked about throughout this, President-elect Trump, I should say, has talked about throughout this entire process. I want to ensure that we don't weaponize the Department of Justice. And so while at the same time saying he wants to go after some of the folks that sent the Department of Justice to him, I think that if they're talking about winding down some of these types of practices and ensuring that the Department of Justice isn't weaponized, then I don't see these types of cases going forward. And then if you fast forward to 5 to 6 years from now, it's kind of murky in where we go from there.
Yeah, can you do anything in 5 years at 2029 if Trump's not in office?
Typically, the statute of limitations for federal crimes would be 5 years, right? And that's most of the time in the state. It's state to state. New York, it would be 5 years, but that case was already over. Georgia is similarly situated. But it's 5 years from the time that a crime has been committed, but then you'd have already been indicted on all of these charges. And so now determining if the clock would start again, does it stop? Like, that's where we're kind of in a weird position because we've never had a precedent that has been in this situation where we're stopping it specifically because they have went and got elected to that office. And so I think in 5 years, it's going to be a test of legal precedent. It's going to be a test of, what the judges at the time think. But for sure, we had a grand jury that spoke. In a number of places, in multiple state cases, in multiple federal cases. And so right now, they do pause. They do disappear. But can they come back? I think that's a question that we will really, really have to see.
The Justice Department will no doubt change by then.
Oh, I mean, Justice Department will look totally different.
All right. Chief Legal Analyst Colleen Rhodes, thanks.